Hey everyone, MacDowin here. Today we are taking a look at Rippley from Hasbro's new Fortnite Victory Royale 6-inch series. I ordered this off of Amazon for $22.99, and if you'd like to own your own, then I have a link for you down in the pinned comment. The packaging looks pretty cool. Over here on the left side of the package, we have what's included. If we flip this thing around, there's really nothing special going on here. We've got a picture of Rippley and the accessories, pretty much exactly what you're seeing in the front. And over here on the right, just the rest of the image from the front. There's really nothing going on this package except for what's on the front. For those who want to see the barcode, here it is. Let's get this slurp creature from the Slurp Lagoon out of the box. If you are new to the channel, welcome, and please subscribe so you'll be notified of future videos. If you want to help the channel out and you play Fortnite, please feel free to add my creator code to your Epic account. It's MacDowin. Rippley is a Slurp skin, and he's part of the Slurp Squad set. Released in Chapter 2 Season 1, this skin was part of the Battle Pass at Tier 20. I'm going to let this finish rotating around so you can see all sides of him, because there's a lot of translucent plastic on this figure and it looks kinda cool. As far as accessories go, he comes with the Sludgehammer harvesting tool. This is made entirely of translucent blue plastic. He comes with a pump shotgun with the Rippley wrap applied, and this looks very cool too. You guys see the black handle and the black pump mechanism, and then the rest of it is really a translucent light color blue, you can see right there. And it looks very nice. Like the other weapons we've seen, it's a little bendy, a little more bendy than what we're used to seeing with 6-inch Fortnite action figures. And finally, we have the Containment Pack back bling. This does not belong to Rippley. Rippley does not actually have any back bling that is associated with his set. So they pulled this from something else, and I can see why. It has some cool stuff. There's a little containment, not containment, but some sort of a canister here, which is also has this blue, light blue, translucent color. Hasbro's Victory Royale series is a line of 6-inch action figures, but when we measure up Rippley, he's actually about 6 3/4 to about 7. It depends on exactly where or how tall he's standing, and this little tiny bit of a slimy slurp nub on the top of his head, but he's actually a pretty tall figure. Here he is with a few other Jazzwares Fortnite, Hasbro's G.I. Joe Hasbro Black Series, and Jazzwares Master Chief for Halo. So that's about where he is on the spectrum of heights. The official announcement for these action figures said that they had over 20 points of articulation. Well, with this particular figure, I have counted about 27 points of articulation. We'll go over that right now. There is one thing I'll point out. He does have this ab crunch, which I'm not super happy about because I got really used to Jazzwares torso cut, and I really liked that for the figures. I find opposability is far better with just that torso cut than this ab crunch. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I know Hasbro absolutely loves it to death because it seems to be in all of their stuff. So let's take a look at the articulation. I think we will begin with the feet, since that's probably going to be a little bit easier here for me. So he's got a hinge at the ankle, goes back and forth on both of them. There's a rotation at the boot. Now, also I'll point out, this is a pinless figure. You won't see pins sticking out. So he's got a double pinless, if you can see past that, double pinless knee. There is a thigh rotation, and he can do the splits about that far if you need him to. One problem is this belt, this kind of web gear belt, stretches down his legs, so if you want him to sit, he's not really going to sit, because this belt gear kind of is a pretty big hindrance, and that's disappointing. That we're apparently past an age where you can remove belts if you want to. A lot of figures seem to have things that are built on because the companies want you to experience a figure a very specific way. They don't want you to experience it your way, and it's really disappointing with this awesome feature. You can't sit him. That's a disappointment as far as I'm concerned. His waist will rotate back and forth like that. Like I said, he's got an ab crunch, so he can crunch about that far forward, and he can Apparently, the ab crunch really doesn't do a whole lot. It's about like that. Looks more just because the waist is moving as well. His shoulders have this butterfly joint, so it kind of moves around like that. He has shoulders that will go up about this high, and let me say, the movement of the articulation is actually really pretty smooth. I haven't come across anything that's really stiff yet. His biceps rotate back and forth. He's got double pinless elbow, although, there we go, finally got them two. It's been difficult, there we go. So double pinless elbows, and there's a rotation and a hinge at the wrist. Now, unlike Jazzwares, this one goes up and down. So this figure, not so much. You can kind of see right there. Goes up and down. Not back and forth at all. This one on the right side, it doesn't really do much of anything. There's a bit of hindrance there at the cuff. So finally, what about the head? Well, how do you rotate this globby thing? Well, it's pretty cool what they actually did. This is a removable piece. It's almost like a containment helmet. So you can get Rippley out of his containment, and his little slurp blob of a head's right there, and it's on a ball joint. So you can rotate the head. You can make him look up and down. So what you do is you do what you need to do. Then you slide this containment back on, and then it kind of puts it into place where it should be. So you can actually have him look left, look right, look up, look down. So I think that's a pretty neat way of pulling off that feature, because with the 4-inch figure from Jazzwares, you know, they've done, as far as I'm concerned, the best they could just with a rotating head. But for this, I think this works out really pretty well. The only thing I might be concerned about is if you take this off and put it on a number of times, how loose will this get? Will this get to a point where it just will fall right off? Now, I'm thinking more of how active somebody is in the movements of this figure. But you can get this to pose because of the belt system. This is a little bit restrictive in how you pose the legs. But, you know, he's kind of a big guy. So, you know, he may not be able to generally pose in just about any way anyway. He is a little bit heavy on top. He is a heavy figure. So posing wise, you know, I'm not really sure what you would be thinking for posing, but I got him into a couple interesting positions off camera. Of course it's off camera, because why should I try to prove something I've done? Like right now, he's really not doing much there. Kind of got him into a squatting position. So, yeah, I leave it up to you to figure out exactly how you're going to pose this guy. Now, one interesting thing is his fingers are also translucent. He's got like finger gloves where the gloves stop about there. And so the tips of his fingers are also translucent. There's a lot of translucent plastic on this figure. He visually looks really good. He looks really visually pretty cool. So one thing, there is a difference. We don't have the finger articulation that Jazzwares had. That's a good thing, I think. But on the other hand, we've got Hasbro's stiff finger articulation now, to where you can't just slide things in certain hands. Like certain hands, I think the right hand is meant to have the pump shotgun, and the left hand is meant to have the harvesting tool, just based off of the way they molded. I wish companies, and I'm not talking about Hasbro, I'm talking about everybody, would just mold a hand that can hold everything. Don't mold them in ways that you have to do certain things with them. So with these, you're going to have to actually pry the fingers out to get anything in them, because they're difficult. They're a little bit tight. Harvesting tool is actually pretty easy. It just slides right in. But with the gun, I'm going to have to pry this sucker's hands open. And because, I guess the thing is, this is already a pretty kind of a soft, bendy gun. It's not like overly soft, but it's soft enough that you gotta finagle it into a hand, and you're working with hard fingers and a soft gun. And if you're not fast enough, you won't get it in there. Now, I'm not trying to show you how bad it is. Keep in mind, I'm at a slight disadvantage because I'm not handling the figure as I properly would. It's about 1.5 feet away from my body. To film this, I have to stretch myself way out there. So, okay. After that, and a lot of grunting, blood, sweat, and tears. The pump shotgun is in his hand, just like that. So, and then, yeah, then he's all geared up. Yeah. Of course, I'm glad something really is easy. The back bling's piece of cake to slide in there. So, yeah, the Hasbro figure, at least as far as I'm concerned, this Rippley is pretty good. Visually cool. The detail is awesome on this figure. There's always going to be pros and cons. Jazzwares figures are going to be good for what they are. These figures are going to be good for what they are. There's going to be the negatives that we haven't liked in the Legendary series from Jazzwares for a while. And I'm sure there will be some things we don't like about these figures. You can't 100% love every tiny little thing about every figure. And generally speaking, personally for me, I don't like the ab cut. As someone else that I know has said, the brutal ab cut, or the brutal ab crunch or something, the brutal cut something, whatever. And these hands that are a little bit difficult to get things into, like guns. I want them to be easy to put stuff in. So overall, I do think this is a visually very cool looking figure. And I think just about anybody who likes Fortnite or who likes this character will be quite pleased by getting it. I think this is a great addition to a collection. He would make a great display up on a shelf. And I really do like the whole head, how you can rotate the head up and down. You can look down. Not sure. Oh, it looks like there might be a bit of a joint down in here, so you could maybe... You can't really... You have to move the head around in the limitation that this little canister bubble helmet thing allows. So you put it into whatever position you want, slide this on, and it will move it into its version of it, as best as I can say. You know, he also just kind of looks cool without it. there's something to him without it. So, but yeah, I think this is a good figure. You like the figure, I think, or you like the character, I think you'll like the figure. I don't think there's enough bad things about this figure to tell you not to get it. Except for, actually, yeah, he does have some holes on the bottom of his feet, so if we find a figure stand that will fit, I'll have to look around and see which ones might fit. Yeah, he's getting kind of back heavy now. Then we can get him onto a figure stand. All right, well, I think that's about it. So now it's your turn. What do you think about this figure so far? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. But before you get out of here, check out my review of the Upgrade Shark, or like I like to refer to it as, Fortnite Jaws. Da-da-da-da. Actually, just for fun, I watched that movie last night just because. So anyway, it's in the lower left-hand corner if you haven't already. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like this video and share it everywhere if you found it helpful, because it really does help the channel to grow. I will see you in the next video.